Hi guys, my name is Rose, and I talk about my mental health, spicy brain, and my disability journey here. And lately I have been struggling like heck to work on the videos I really want to put out, which are like the journey that I went through to get my diagnoses and what my life was like going through until I got my ADHD diagnoses. Um, in January is when I got the ADHD one that finished everything off, but I'm it's it's a bit more complicated, and I'm having a really hard time putting it together. So I have decided I'm just going to go ahead and keep working on putting together a video in that area that I like and talk about whatever else I feel like bringing up. And today I'm going to talk about how brains are weird and sometimes cool sometimes. So, with my collection of mental health things, we've got the depression and anxiety and PTSD and autism. One of the things that my brain does to protect itself is disassociate. I disassociate a lot when things happen that are overwhelming to me. I can disassociate in different levels, and it can be anything from I had a tough conversation with someone and my brain doesn't recall any of it at all because it was fraught and upsetting, and my brain just chooses to admit everything from it. Or it can be I have a rule that if I meet a new therapist or anyone in the psychiatric field, for sure, I always have somebody with me for at least the first couple appointments, because in those I don't always like block out the entire visit, but I will almost certainly go on autopilot through the visit, and it becomes very foggy. I won't necessarily remember everything. There's a sense of disconnect, and I still participate in the appointment. I'm still present. I can answer questions. Um, Usually more disconnected than I usually am from other interactions when this is going on. But I still participate, but it's like I'm not actually in my body participating. I'm more like a passenger along for the ride, or watching it from a distant space, watching it happen from outside the meat suit that is me. That's kind of a really creepy analogy. Ew, I don't like that so much. But yeah, that's one thing that my brain does, and I've been doing it my entire life. we talked to the neuropsychologist that gave me my ADHD diagnosis about my memory because I've been having trouble, more trouble pulling words and things. I used to be more hyperverbal. My speech has slowed down a lot. The people who I live with, it happened gradually over the past decade. But when I speak to my mother or my sisters, it's a big shock to them when they speak to me because they remember when I was still very hyperverbal and I could speak much faster when I had more processing power basically in my brain before my big um, series of burnouts and breakings, which is another thing I really want to talk about, but I haven't been able to make the videos. Eventually I will figure out how to bring those words to the outside. I'm hyperlexic and I used to be hyperverbal. I shouldn't be struggling as much with this as I am, I don't think, but I'll figure it out eventually. I'll figure it out and make it go. But anyway, I was speaking with the neuropsychologist about my memory because I'm now having trouble sometimes pulling the right words when I want them. And so he actually did test my memory, and except for the places that are shielded from me because of the oh I was, we were just talking about it, except for the things that are shielded from me because of the disassociation, I actually have really good long-term memory for the things that make it in there. um, Things from my childhood, I actually remember very, very well if it made it into the memory banks. Um, for example, I can remember being in kindergarten and having the teacher teaching us about money and having all the fake coins and holding them up and asking us which is the smallest. And she asked which was the smallest, and I told her it was the dime, obviously. And she told me I was wrong. And I was not wrong. The dime is obviously the smallest. She asked the question wrong. She meant to ask which is worth the least. But, you know, really good memory. That's a very vivid memory for me. I have other memories that go back just as far. Hi, Briar. Yes. Um, but the thing is I can't always access the memories that are in long-term storage when I want to. It it's kind of like they're in a computerized storage system, and I go to look for something and I'm getting a 404 file not found error code, and we have no idea why. And eventually a link will probably show up to the file. There's no telling when. It can be ages later, like months down the line, before a file comes up again that I was looking for. But that's a weirdness in my brain. And I'm wondering if anybody ever actually sees this and watches this, are there any really weird things that your brain does? Because you don't know unless you ask, and people tell you. Anyway, that's it for Weird Ramblings for me today. Bye!